Can I talk with you? You seem reasonable, actually. I'm live streaming right now. That's not going to upset you. Let me go this way. Okay. And you're not going to get in trouble with other members if we end up agreeing on certain points. You will not get blacklisted. Yeah, it's a question. You're like you're not. If we discuss certain things and ultimately we agree on certain points, you have no fear of reprisals from the other people who are anti-Convoy.
I'm not sure I 100% understand.
We'll get going. Why are you here?
I'm here because I'm a resident of Ottawa, and there are people, the residents of some of the neighborhoods surrounding the protest area, who unfortunately have been experiencing aggressive behavior, threatening behavior, verbal assaults, even physical assaults, vandalism. There's been, defecation in people's front yards, a woman pushed to the ground. The community, there are many people in the community who are scared right now, fearful about walking around in the neighborhood at night. It's worse on the weekends, and unfortunately, some bad actors have attached themselves to this convoy. And I'm not arguing with anyone's right to protest. I've protested down here before. This is where you do it, on Wellington Parliament Hill. But unfortunately, this is Wellington neighborhoods, and residents are really feeling the consequences.
Now I want to go item by item. Crime or assault. I mean, what specific examples? Because some people are going to say, I don't believe you.
Okay, so as of 2 days ago, the police report on convoy activity. There's been over 850 calls for service, including menacing residents from convoy participants, ramming a police cruiser by demonstrators. There are 85 open criminal investigations. There have been over 200 calls to the hate crimes office. That's resulted in 4 charges so far. There have been 23 arrests related to other convoy activities.
Where's this coming?
This is from Ottawa Police. Okay. And then last night, the announcement, the daily update from the police that there's continuing unlawful, threatening conduct in Sandy Hill, Centertown, Lower Town, and the markets. So, and then my experience on the ground in the community reflects that too.
That convoy members are walking through neighborhoods.
It's just a scumbag.
Hold on. Not me.
No, not you.
Okay, no, but don't call anybody scumbag liars, because I think. Okay, I want to say this. First of all, how do you know that? How does anyone know that they're from the convoys when those reports are being made? I'm like, serious question. How is it being identified from the convoy?
Like that's not a question. That's not a question I can answer. They're just here because of the convoy.
So here, I don't mean that in an aggressive way. Step one is you have reports of criminality without any way of actually definitively attaching it to the convoy. It's just calls coming in and people saying, "I think it's with the convoy."
No, that's not true. Even the police say it's attached.
Well, I've actually asked a lot of the cops here in real time, and they've all basically unequivocally said haven't seen very much.
Listen. I'm not going to fall into this trap of debating whether this happened or that happened or this happened. I'm in the community, working with my neighbors in the community. People, we have community meetings every night. People are experiencing this. They're telling firsthand that they're experiencing violence and threatening behavior.
But it's the this that we need to define. This is, first of all, Ottawa was not a crime-free place before the convoy.
Of course not.
And it was not a homeless-free place by any means. I have family here. So the defecating on someone's porch, how do you know it wasn't a homeless person?
Irresponsible, unkind, and unloving to the next generation, because you're saying...
I mean, you're looking around here, you're seeing the convoy. Nobody's shitting on the streets here. They're shoveling the streets. So why would you think that the idea would be that the convoy is going to leave here where they're making the place better and go dump on someone's front porch?
Dude, there is a qualitative difference in what's happening in the residential neighborhoods around here right now than before.
Is it conceivable?
It is a distinct and very real qualitative difference in the experience.
I've walked it a bit, but I'll throw out a hypothesis. Is it conceivable that what would have otherwise been the homeless people that were now no longer here might have gone to the residential areas and might be the ones who could be conceivably committing these acts that are being reported? Is that possible?
This is what I can tell you. I'm involved in my community. I care for my neighbors.
No doubt.
People are experiencing this stuff, particularly on the weekends when more people come in, and are wandering around the residential neighborhoods at night. this has happened. People are talking about it every night, all the time. Many people, and not everybody. Like, there's a lot of people from Ottawa who support this and are down here.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are also feeling fearful because of some of the stuff that's come to town because of this conflict.
And I'm going to ask you.
And I'm just down here. Hold on. Let me finish. And so I am just down here to communicate the experience of my community and some of the residents of Ottawa. Many of the residents are in the neighborhoods right around here, just to communicate their anxiety, their fear, and the hurt that they're experiencing. I'm trying to communicate that and very respectfully, say
and also
that can we please think about them and maybe agree they should not be collateral damage. That's what I'm saying.
Agreed. Now, and I'll throw one obvious thing. Now, if those acts of violence are going on, you are, I mean, by all accounts, you would be public enemy number one given this environment. Have you felt the slightest bit of intimidation or threatening behavior being here, effectively telling these people to go home? Have you felt
I think I've been yelled at like 3 times. That's it.
second son.
All right. I would posit that the acts that are being complained about elsewhere could be actually and probably are totally unrelated to the convoy participants themselves. I've been walking the streets, like it's now 30. I've been doing like 30 some odd hours of live streaming. I've seen nothing, and I've walked elsewhere. I do presume that the homeless population that was here, because I've been here and never felt good walking here at night before, might have gone elsewhere and could be conceivably the ones doing it.
I think it's really shitty to blame the homeless population of Ottawa.
Well, but it might be even shittier to blame the people who might not be guilty.
But that's what's happening. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I know you're going to try to pick apart everything I'm saying, but man, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm talking directly to people who are experiencing this, and it happened when the convoy came. Like I don't know what to tell you.
I know you're going to expose all my lies, but I don't know what to.
I know this guy's been accusing me of lying since yesterday.
Well, no, but it's look, everyone has a different tactic of discussing. I'm going to suggest another thing also, because there has been actual, I've seen this, statistics lie, yada, yada. There have been articles saying that crime has actually gone down since the convoy's been.
Yeah.
You've seen that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say in Niagara.
All right, so I guess it's just going to be a question.
The police were asked about that as well, and what the chief of police said, it's because their entire force is down here on Wellington, and they're not patrolling the neighborhoods. That's what the chief of police said.
That's an interesting, that might be also an interesting explanation as to why there could be an increase in certain types of acts elsewhere. That might be actually not related to the convoy participants. Have you met one angry participant?
Yes.
Which one?
Not many. I will say,
being called a liar.
This guy right here. I will say 95%.
That's like a decent guy, and so do you.
99%
Liars make me
of
angry.
the interactions down here have
I'm
been very
guilty,
respectful.
but I've never threatened anyone. I have shouted at him that he's a liar.
I think the bigger, broader question is,
What about
how
the
do we?
solution?
What's the
solution?
No, but I guess the question is this: I don't really want to get into your sentiments on the mandates, on the substance of the protest. Forget about.
I have no problem with people protesting. I have no problem with that.
But remember when he said his
It's the
neighbors
impact-
were fearful, and I
it's the
think you were going to
impact on the
say it's
neighborhood.
because of all the fear mongering, right?
Well, so that's another thing. The fear, the sentiments of fear, you can't argue with emotions. Acts of violence, you can discuss. I've asked the cops. You know, we're getting it's diverging facts. Well, I've heard the same people dumping on porches. Like none of these people are shoveling sidewalks. Why would they go somewhere else and take a dump on someone's porch? Like,
I haven't individually pointed the finger at anyone. I'm just saying this is happening because the convoy's here. Like Occam's razor, like the simplest solution, it's the simplest explanation.
But between the two of us, the explanation that this convoy might have pushed out people who would have otherwise been here, that could explain that phenomenon could explain both.
I mean, I think you're making a leap. I think when
Why don't you complain to Trudeau? It's actually him that's causing this, not us.
oh man,
It's his problem, man. He
Well, that's
created it.
but that well, we all. I think I don't know if you agree with that.
believe me, I'm no fan of Trudeau.
And I'll tell you one thing, because I saw the counter-protesters the other day, and I've spoken with people here who would appear to be ostensible allies of the counter-protesters, but then when it becomes known that they're no longer of the counter-protesters turn on them in the ways that you're describing, calling them names, shoving them. I mean, is it conceivable that these acts are actually, they might be because the convoy's here, but actually perpetrated by people who have nothing to do with the convoy?
You can posit as many theories as you want. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing on the ground.
Okay. All right. Well, it's fair enough. I mean, I'll have my theory to it. What's your first name?
Bobby.
Bobby David. Nice to meet you. And how long are you going to be here for? You're gonna head back before dark?
Today, tomorrow, and then reassess.
Okay, you should come Saturday. It's gonna be a big day. But and just everybody out there, it does take courage to do this also, because I think you're stepping into the belly of the beast. But I happen to think this beast is much less menacing than if this were inverted the other way. Like,
what does that mean?
Well, if I were to go, I did interview the counter protesters, but the sentiment I got from the counter protesters on last Saturday. There were signs that said "sterilize white supremacists," and I don't care about those things, but I think you're less likely to really get hatred by you coming here. But when I've talked with people who crossed the lines from the counter protesters to join the convoy, and then the counter protesters didn't appreciate that much.
Let me just conclude with this, okay? I came down here to just communicate that many of the residents of the city who live around the downtown core are feeling fearful. They've been subject to threatening behavior. It happened when the convoy came. I'm not blaming everyone that's down here, but unfortunately, that's just the reality. And I'm saying, so what you're doing is like picking apart all this stuff. Like I wouldn't be justifying violence against the residents of Ottawa for any other cause at all. Like it's wrong, and it divides workers. Like Canadian workers have been shafted during this pandemic, right? Truck drivers, teachers, construction workers.
With the government?
No, I am a proud union member.
Okay.
Canadian workers have been shafted this entire time, right? Like I'm not gonna I think we can agree on that.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. And the frustration down here, I can feel the frustration down here over the boomeranging health measures and the restrictions going back, and the seemingly endless public health measures, all this stuff. Like that's real frustration that all of us share. I just don't think the residents of Ottawa, my friends and neighbors, should be collateral damage in trying to find a solution. Right? It unnecessarily creates a division among people who could be allies, right? But when people in Ottawa are feeling the direct impact of this convoy in a negative way that makes them feel threatened in their own neighborhoods, then that is counterproductive to both of us. It doesn't work. Dude, again,
Wasn't it that at first? Exactly.
when the honking stopped, much better. Like in the middle of the week, not as bad, but the weekend, like last weekend was bad.
Matter of fact, most of you guys
There were a lot of people roaming the streets that had too much to drink, that had come in. There were like a thousand more cars came in. Sorry?
Do you have a solution?
Well, I'm just here respectfully asking the convoy to leave.
What happened then?
What happens if they do leave?
Okay, let's suppose
Then the residents, my community will feel around here. They'll feel a bit safer.
okay, but the solution to solve the problem.
Everything.
If I may, so hold on. Let me just add one more question. Violence and threats, I don't tolerate. I don't condone.
Good.
Full stop. Inconvenience, horn honking, traffic. What do you say to the argument that people who live in a government town, the capital city of the country, should be expected to tolerate what might be disruptive protests?
You know what?
A
A lot of people have tried to make that argument with me, and I think it's bullshit.
Okay.
I don't think people who live in a residential neighborhood in Ottawa should just expect to be subject to that. To be subject to that, and I don't think either of us should consider that a fair trade-off.
Well, I live in Montreal. I'm from Montreal. I live on a street where there were protests for the lockdowns, but also for the Indigenous blockade issues.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand,
we're not talking about simple inconvenience. We're not talking about simple inconvenience.
Well, now I've driven in every morning. Not every morning. I've driven in multiple times. Haven't seen any traffic. In this area, I understand the restaurants have shut down, but I understand it was not by force. It was by recommendation from the city for fear of disruption, which we haven't seen. But what has been the inconvenience? Like, what's been the critical inconvenience for local residents?
Do you make it fair that
Above and beyond the honking, which stopped after the fourth day.
I'm a firefighter. Do you think
It's
it's
not
fair
that
that I get
Okay, well,
that's
or lose my job?
what has been the well? like I didn't come prepared with a list of inconveniences. I came with a list of experiences of people feeling threatened in their own neighborhoods. That's what that's what I came with.
All right.
That's the message I came with.
Good enough, sir. Nice to meet you. And well, this is live, so we've had a live discussion, but you'll see it on the internet or it'll be on the. But it's nice. I had a good discussion with some of the counter protesters. Some wouldn't talk. A lot wouldn't talk with me, which I didn't insult me. I just thought it was curious to come to a counter protest and don't talk. But thank you for talking. All right, have a good one.